Son, what game are you playing right now? Grand Theft Auto. You can't go past the red light. That's bad. You have to obey the law. Okay. The graphics so good, you know. In my day, we didn't have that type of TV. This is the type of game you're supposed to be playing. Not those tiny screen iPad game that make your eye go blind. Do video games cause violence, or is it simply violent people who play video games? The answer is important because 150 million units of Grand Theft Auto has been sold all over the world, and 97% of teenagers play video games. If video games did cause violence, then the crime rates would have skyrocketed in the last 20 years when violent video games were released. Well, actually, in the last 20 years, Canada's crime rates have dramatically dropped when it peaked in the 90s, probably foreshadowing Justin Bieber's birth. So shouldn't young people be more and more violent with all these violent video games showing grotesque images of violence and killing? Well, there's also another theory that video games might decrease the amount of violence caused. See, some people think that if people use video games to vent their frustration, things that they can't do in real life, just to vent their frustration on the video games so they could be less mad by the end of it and more satisfied. Well, as a player of League of Legends, I can personally tell you that is not the case. Like, by the end of the game, 9 out of 10 people are unsatisfied. Even the winning team, four people are like, noobs, kill, steal. Let's examine some opinions, shall we? Let's go to our favorite website, Conservapedia.com, the same website that thinks that Hitler used homosexuals for his reign of terror. Anyways, let's hear what they say. Let's see. Video games are likely the single biggest cause of bright young men dropping out of college. On its page in GTA, it says, GTA is a popular, amoral video game series that allows players to engage in various illegal, immoral, and unchristian activities. It seems a lot of conservatives use video game violence to justify that why we shouldn't have stricter gun control laws. And, like, for example, the Columbine shooters were avid video game fans. Alright, let's see what actual real websites designed by adults and not just 12-year-olds in adult skin say. How Stuff Works notes that people blame comic books and rock and roll music throughout history for violence and drugs. Of course, studies have shown that violent video game players are more aggressive and emotionally inclined than violent video game players, but the problem with these studies is that they're just short-term reactions. I received the same emotional responses as seen in the studies when I lose a sports match, or someone doesn't text me back on social network sites. Of course, these responses are only temporary. I mean, by that logic, you can pretty much make an argument that anything causes violence. I think the most important thing is to not confuse what you see in video games with the reality, and that might be one of the reasons that some people who play video games go out and wreak havoc, because they're kids and they're impressionable and they're not emotionally mature enough to distinguish between what's right and what's just entertainment.